Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the High Frequency Kicks podcast, available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Seems like we're good to go now.
Let's hope so. We're only like 30 minutes behind when we intended to start, so we're good. That's like, I don't know, I feel like that's a good improvement for us over usual.
Yeah. Okay, once again.
So,
Happy New Year, Thomas.
Happy New Year. Good to see you again. It's been a while. A bunch of stuff happened. We were talking about how you lost your voice.
Yeah, I did. So that was part of the problem as to why this episode is so much later than every episode.
Yes. And I was saying how you mentioned how you lost your voice and told me how you lost your voice. And I thought it was very characteristically you. It made me giggle a little bit because it was funny how like on brand it was. Because you lost your voice at a goth night.
Yeah, because the music was so loud. And I was like with my friend, and then I ran into my cousin I haven't seen in forever. So we were chatting, so we were yelling over the music for like a constant 4 or 5 hours. It was almost immediate. Like we left the club and I was like, oh my God, I can't talk. Like I could, but like not very well. And then 2 days later it was gone. I had nothing.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean, this sounds like a lot of fun.
It was, worth it.
Yeah. No, I understand that. But yeah, I mean, just a bunch of stuff has been happening. So, we have day jobs. We've mentioned that before. Episodes are late.
Yeah. Your German guy gets it when he gets it.
The one, yeah. Oh,
the German guy's so disappointed.
Yeah, he's waiting for his fix, I'm sure. But we're here, back on, back at it again. We had a topic that we're not going to do anymore because it's been way too long.
Yeah.
But we were shooting ideas back and forth, and we decided we kind of landed on talking about exercise and fitness and things that we do outside of supplementary to martial arts.
Yeah, I do quite a few things, and in the span of time that we've, like from the last episode till now, I've picked up a new one.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah.
So what other things do you do for fitness and for exercise to all that stuff?
So like my more usual things I do, lately, since the summer, I picked up doing like these really fun, just like, it's a lot of weight training on YouTube. And so there's this YouTuber I follow, and I really, really like her workouts. She's called like Sydney Cummings is her name.
Okay.
And the videos are really nice. So that's, the videos are bad, then it's cringy for me. I can't watch it. Mm-hmm. But, so that's something I picked up more recently. For the past year, I was training Filipino martial arts with Alvin. Mm-hmm. But because of the busyness, I've kind of dropped that over the past few months, just because of the time and whatnot. My more recent activity I've picked up is pole.
Oh, nice.
Pole fitness. And that's with my instructor, who I also do like yoga with, and bar. Mm-hmm. Do you know about bar?
No, explain bar.
Okay, so bar is like inspired by ballerina exercises.
Oh, sure.
Of the bar. So like things you would do with the bar. Mm-hmm. Except it's kind of like that with Pilates, and it feels like just straight torture for like an hour, but like in a fun way.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so she does all three of those things. So I've done like all three of those things with her, and I've also been doing a lot of dance classes the past year.
That's super cool. How are you finding those things as far as like contributing to your martial arts, or taking away from, if you feel that's the case? But I doubt it.
Well, there are certain things that just kind of feel wrong.
Sure.
to do because I've conditioned my body to do something one way, and they're
Mm-hmm.
okay. Like for instance, like the first thing that always comes to mind is like, so in dance class, they have a similar thing to a back stance, but instead of keeping your knee slightly closed, it's often open.
Sure.
So you're like opening your hips
Mm-hmm.
towards the front rather than like your knees and your toes are pointed outwards rather than inwards,
Yeah, I gotcha.
which took me a few tries to get used to because it's like, yeah, it just feels wrong because your knee's supposed to, like in my head, my knee's supposed to be slightly inwards for protection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like vulnerability, like this few extra inches. It's like vulnerability
Yeah.
that I'm not a fan of. But yeah, but no, in general, it's like it's really nice to practice changing your brain to things you're not used to, so you don't get too habitual. Like it's nice to develop the habitual side so that you just like do your martial arts as second nature.
Mm-hmm.
However, you don't want to get like too involved in that, too involved or too caught up. At the same time, it's a fine line.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so it's because like you could do like say okay, the obvious, say we got in a fight. You don't want to like do something that just feels habitual to you, but it was the wrong thing to do in that moment.
yeah.
Like you want to get used to those other body movements and stuff. So with like training your brain to adapt to those different body movements is very helpful, like going from activity to activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then more specifically, like I've noticed with the pole, like when I've been doing pole in the fall for a bit, I started doing that and just like, I mean, the obvious sheer upper body strength one needs to do pole. It's like that's like a huge weak point for me is upper body strength, so it's like definitely helpful with that, but it's like it's also very like pole is painful. Like it's very painful. There's a lot of like, you know, leveraging yourself up against the pole, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and holding yourself up and whatnot. So like, it's nice that way for my martial arts, translating into my martial arts, so that it like you get used to that, like conditioning yourself to that extra pain and whatnot, so that you can just like power through in those moments you need to just power through.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I've seen pole. I have a friend here who used to do pole as well, and she talked about it and some other things that she did at that studio as far as fitness activities, and like yeah, like the like you're saying, like the core strength is ridiculous to be able to do that stuff and do it fluidly. So yeah, I mean, like it's a extreme fitness regimen there that's super cool. I mean, if you can do that, like that is amazing stuff. The
Yeah, like
dance,
there's an element similar to like when you're doing forms, it's like
yeah.
you have to kind of push through the pain and use that core strength to keep things looking nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the outside, it needs to look nice and effortless, but on the inside, you're dying a little.
Pardon me. It's been a long day over here. Yeah, no, that was yeah, like that's some really cool stuff. Like those are some great exercises, I think, in my opinion, as far as building those muscle groups. Because like I was gonna say, like I remember there's one of the seminars with some grandmasters that were talk years ago. This is one of the times we were in Hawaii, and one of the masters were talking about training when they were young with their master, and how their technique was very mechanical and stuff at the time, and they were instructed by their master to go out and find a dance teacher and learn dance, which they did, of course, and it pardon me, had an obvious positive impact because to be a dancer you have to be very very fluid, and to be a good dancer, at least I should say. Anyways, you have to be very fluid and seamless in your movements, and that's something that I think can be hard for martial artists. I've made this joke before, this comment to other people before, that dancers tend to make very good martial artists. They come into the dance studio or the martial arts studios. We've seen it a number of times, and they come in and they can pick it up and they can get the rhythm and they can do it. It doesn't translate quite as quickly the other way around, in my experience. Martial artists don't make inherently good dancers. It takes us a moment to figure out how to do that. In my experience, maybe you're different, but I've had to do some. I had to learn some dances for some things in the past, and it's tricky for me, at least. And I know the people I was training with were also martial artists. We're all trying to learn how to dance. It was for our friends. She was Filipino and was part of the Filipino community. Had the cotillion and the debut, and it's a big dance thing. So we were part of the dance in her cotillion. And so we all had to learn how to do this dance, and we were all a bunch of martial artists. And I still feel sorry for that dance teacher trying to teach us how to do these dances. But it was fun. But I'm not sure if you have a different experience. My experience is that a martial artist can learn to dance for sure, but it takes longer for us to learn to dance than dancers take to learn martial arts.
Well, with the dancing, it's easy. Some parts for me, some parts are easy and some parts are difficult.
Sure.
So like I said before, so like in the dance class I take, there's a frequent back stance move. So that was kind of like, it was difficult to keep doing it the way that they were instructing us to do it. So I wanted to do it my way and the way my legs just naturally go.
Sure.
But the choreography I'm very good at. I can absorb the choreography really quick because of the forms we've done our whole lives pretty much.
Yeah.
Same with pole, like the woman teaching me pole, that's she always tells me like that's her weak point of pole is like once you start putting things together into a choreography, it's like it's tricky for her to remember, but I like pick it up so quick and she's just like, oh my god, like how come how do you know how to do that? And like, well, it's just a habit for me now.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I guess, yeah, a sequence is a sequence. Either way you look at it, I guess.
Yeah. Especially when it goes to a song, it kind of like, it definitely feels a little easier when it goes to a song too, because when a song picks up, the movements pick up, and if you can just like once you get the mechanics of it down and you just kind of like listen to the beats and whatnot, then you kind of just naturally know what's coming.
Sure.
For me, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I usually train to some kind of music. Not that it aligns with anything I'm doing, but like if I'm doing, I'll try and find a music library or playlist that fits whatever exercise. I'm doing that time. So I mean, if I'm trying to do like cardio or like I'm trying to train like really quick kicks in rapid succession kind of thing, like I'll put something faster beat on to get that, get my brain kind of hearing that rhythm and translating that to my body for that benefit. So I mean, the external stimuli definitely. I mean, that's a thing that exists that definitely can help without question. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are really cool. Those are that's definitely not like totally different things than what I'm doing, but.
Well, what are you doing?
I'm doing mostly. So I've been really getting back into weights lately, and doing some weightlifting. I'm doing getting back into a lot of like I'm using my TRX a little more often, using my battle ropes. All fantastic stuff. But I've also started. So I have a particular problem. So I actually have an injury right now. That's making a few things a little more difficult. And I've been working with a chiropractor and my physiotherapist. And basically, and this is kind of why this idea came to mind, because I've had to really branch out and expand into my fitness regimens lately because of this. Because I fell into a bad trap like years ago. I've been doing, I mean, you as well. You and I have both been in martial arts since we were young children. And the thing that I find that happens is that a lot of people stick with just the martial arts for their fitness, which is fine. It's a general rule. If all you want out of it is fitness, it's great there for that. But there's a trap that can happen there, which I fell into, which is that I didn't have a balanced approach to just my muscle fitness and my muscle building and conditioning, which was fine for, as a teenager, because you're made of rubber and you're invincible, and even my early 20s. But I'm not there anymore. Whoops. I'm not at that point in my life anymore. And I'm still training fairly heavily. I'm still doing a lot of stuff, and I was fine until about a year-ish ago, and I realized that some things were out of balance, and it was fine till then, because like it was just kind of the thing of like things stacking on top of each other over and over again, until eventually it was just the Jenga tower fell over. The Jenga tower being my body, specifically my hips. Because what I did is I found like I wasn't branching out to other things. I was just doing the exercises focused on martial arts stuff and kicking, which are very good, but it was too linear, too focused on just one way of moving. And so a lot of other things just weren't strong enough. So my exercise routine now, I've been doing some courses on specifically fitness with a mobility approach as being the center of the fitness. So I'm doing a lot of mobility exercises and mobility fitness programs lately. And it's a very interesting, different way of looking at, I'm not trying to build up the muscles as my first thought. I'm building up the mobility as my first thought, and the muscles come along with that. Which fits with
Just
the way
bonus.
that I've always taught. Sorry, say again?
Just bonus.
Yeah.
Like it's an afterthought.
Well, it fits with the way that I've taught martial arts, where I've always taught that you do your technique first, right? You learn how to do the thing properly, because you can have the strongest kick in the world, the strongest punch in the world, but it doesn't matter if you can't hit a target. And that's always been my approach when teaching people, is technique comes first. And so when I'm doing my physical conditioning and my exercising, I didn't realize that I didn't quite have that same mindset, and that I wasn't really looking at how does my body move. I'm thinking about exercises for mobility for martial arts, but I wasn't thinking about mobility for the sake of mobility and being able to just move in general, and in the myriad of ways that my body is supposed to move. So there's some things that, some muscle groups that were compensating for others, and it got to a point where it couldn't work as well anymore. So I've got some issues with my hips that I'm fixing, and I've done a lot of work with my physiotherapist, my chiropractor, and it's way better. But I found a few guys online, one of whom I bought his program. I found him on like Instagram, sponsored ad, whatever. But it's this Irish guy.
They gotcha.
That's how they get you, and sometimes they get you good. Sometimes it works. This time it worked. Like this guy, like I really love this program that I've been doing with this guy. His name is Tom Morrison. He's an Irish.
Oh, of course, Tom.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get me with the good first name. That's the first thing.
Tom sold.
Yeah.
He sounds like a smart fellow.
That's all I need. If your name is Tom or Thomas, like I'm in. Then I don't care what you're selling. No, he's an Irish guy. So first of all, he's just fun to listen to. But his approach and his mentality is very, very interesting. I love the way he approaches fitness and muscle building and conditioning. He also, when his videos, I mean, they're just exercise videos, but I mean, he does manage to do it in a way that's not just like listening to a lecture in university. It's not really boring to listen to and to watch the videos. It's kind of engaging. He's got a kind of a good sense of humor about just making the videos. It makes it sort of entertaining to watch. But the exercises are just the way they're focused on, like, the body has to move. If the body's not moving, the muscle building is useless, which is kind of the same idea as like, well, if you can't hit a target, then all the strength you have doesn't matter. It's kind of the same philosophy in my mind. And so that's been my main focus as far as outside of martial arts and just getting into exercise and fitness has been mobility. making sure my joints move, make sure my hips move, my knees feel good, my shoulders, my elbows. I have two of them.
Nice.
Yeah, I got that going a little while ago. It's great.
Wow.
Got it off eBay.
Oh God.
Don't ask too many questions. It just works.
I was just I was just listening to a true crime today about a black market doctor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
That stuff's scary.
Yeah.
Don't sell bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just a very interesting. It's stuff that I want to take away and use in my own teaching. When I get to teaching my students, I don't want them to feel like not that any of our instruction was lacking. Like, I think we were encouraged to do multiple things, but for whatever reason, like I just wasn't branching out enough into the right things. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really working on making sure that I have that full balanced approach of what I'm teaching and encouragement to any students of mine to do things like pole or like dance or those things that help those fluidity muscles.
Yeah. Ooh. Sorry. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
That just reminded me of something. So when I'm doing like bar, like a particular thing I wanted to work on that I kept like just slacking on, but then this kind of like helped me, was when I started doing like pole and the bar classes. There's a lot of like holding your leg out straight in the air. Mm-hmm. And like keeping things always with the pointed toes, like we're opposite, right? Martial arts, pointed toes, keeping the leg out really straight and up as high as you can. So that's like a huge challenge for me, and I always wish that I could do those kind of things better. Just like like pose for a picture doing a kick and hold it up in the air if I wanted to, or so. Yep. Just because it's cool. Like for no other reason other than that's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I always like, I've been meaning to like train myself like every day to make that better, and like those things definitely helped with that, because there's a lot of just like holding your leg out, doing pumps and this and that.
And I mean, I see a lot.
Yeah. So and then I wasn't. Yeah, I like totally forgot that, like, I don't know. It's like I need that skill for multiple things now, so it's more motivational that way.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of those similar exercises being translated to martial arts and being used by schools. Because yeah, like dance, pole fitness. I mean, if you do, there's another one that I know of. The silks.
Oh, silks.
Silks is another great one.
I tried silks once. I went to like a circus arts school, and they had a circuit. Oh, so you could try all the things. So we also did like trapeze and that kind of thing.
Nice. Yeah,
it was so cool.
Mm-hmm. Like those things, and then like gymnastics in general. I did gymnastics as a kid for a little while.
You know what? I would really like to do gymnastics now. There are things in gymnastics that I really wish I could try and then like incorporate it into martial arts, like to do like fancier kicks and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's definitely things like I definitely have times where I wish I carried on with gymnastics beyond where I did. I did a little bit as like just a kid in classes at the YMCA or something. Yeah. And I definitely feel like I should have done more. Talking to the mic.
Hi, Kat. Kat, what do you think?
Oh, he'll Thoughts? Tell you. But yeah, there's definitely things from gymnastics that carry over very well to especially very theatrical, very, very flamboyant martial arts techniques or forms or things. Not necessarily practical. I mean, that's a very clear division there between the arts and the martial side of martial arts. Like the gymnastic stuff is great for the fitness, and you have to be fit in order to fight. But if you want to do those really fancy things, gymnastics is another great one to teach you those skills. I think I would not object to doing more of it now, but once I'm good with my physiotherapist and I get my hips back, under control.
Yeah, maybe work on that first a little bit.
Yeah, that's my goal. Like I've been really lately I've been really pulling back a lot on just the martial arts training. So I'm doing less kicks right now, focusing on the weights and focusing on the mobility stuff and my flexibility again, my mobility to get back to where I need to be so I can practice properly without being afraid of hurting myself. Because I've reached a point where basically there's a bunch of muscles that were not weren't as strong as others. So other muscles were compensating, like I said. So I had pressure was put on my sciatic at first. Well, still a little bit. So I couldn't throw kicks. Certain kicks I could only do with one leg. So I got to the point where I was afraid to move the way I know that I can. Mm-hmm. And I talked with my physiotherapist, like he'd look over a bunch of things and be like, yeah, physically, like muscularly, you have the strength to do these things. Is that there's other parts that just aren't moving and that need to be able to move. And they'll like support muscles and stabilizer muscles that just aren't strong enough to support the other muscles. So that's what we're working on. And so that's where my fitness has been at is mobility and all that kind of stuff. And I would love to do more fancy stuff again, but I want to get back into like 540 kicks.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get back into, and then I realized I need to stop because something was not working entirely correctly.
Just stop.
Yeah, so I pulled back a bit on that. But
that's interesting that that there's like workouts deliberately focused on mobility issues like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and like
there's so many niche things available now, which is nice.
Yeah, and like him and this other guy that I've found on Instagram who also does a mobility focused exercise program.
Do you know his name? Maybe we can find out the name.
His name is Amir. His I can't remember his Instagram handle. It's like it's called a Kin Stretch program. It's a thing. But again, it's another mobility focused program. I'll send you the Instagram handles for both of these people so you can put them on the video if you want.
Sure.
But both of them have very similar mindsets of mobility first. Both of them they talk about, and I like the fact that their experience with it is that they both did more or less the same thing that I did, where they were very focused on a particular aspect of strength and fitness, and did the same thing. They got to a point where they were just in pain all the time, and once they started shifting to mobility exercises and mobility fitness as the launching point for their exercises, then everything changed, and then they were able to move properly. They were able to build all the muscle groups and build them equally, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. My dogs are here now. They want attention. No, you guys don't get fed for another 6 minutes, but deal with it. I'm trying to think of what other sports I have done in the past that I found beneficial. I mean, I used to play baseball as a kid. That wasn't, meh. I did golf for a little while. Mostly because it was free
I also
at the
played
time.
golf for a while.
Yeah. That was surprisingly, like, just sitting on the driving range for a little while. It was surprisingly good art. Like, I didn't expect, I don't know why I didn't think about it, but I just never, I never put any thought into golf, I guess. But like, it is a pretty good arm workout to do that. I don't know why prior to that I had just never put any thought into golf, probably because
it's very, very precise eye-hand coordination.
It is that too,
obviously,
yeah.
But so that's something that would be useful to us.
It's definitely like after having done it, I was like, oh, this is actually, I wouldn't. Golf's not my thing, so I'm not gonna really spend money on it. But it is definitely a useful thing. It definitely is more of an exercise, more fitness than I think a lot of people give it credit for. But it's still not my thing.
If you're walking hole to hole. I think you
Yes,
should walk hole to hole if you want the exercise aspect out of it.
probably. Yeah, if you're riding the cart, it probably negates that. But it's really the only like major things. I mean, like other than the usual stuff, like I said, most of my stuff right now is weights, body weight training, and mobility, and running occasionally, walking my dogs.
Oh, running! I could not run.
It's mostly because
That's
my
like
wife
my
likes
least
to in the
favorite
summer.
thing.
My wife likes to go
yeah.
in the summer, and so I'll go with her sometimes.
Does
But
she still do martial arts with you?
she does. Well, because that's one thing. One of the things we're doing with the home gym, and with me teaching classes in general now, and trying to get my own school up and running, is that she's doing classes with me. So she was doing, back when we lived in Winnipeg, she was doing classes, and then various things. I mean, she was finishing college, starting a job, and then we moved. So she hasn't been actively training lately, but she wants to get back into it. She wants to get her black belt. So it's like, okay, well,
fancy.
It's been a while, so she's basically starting from scratch. But
and at what point do you have authorization to give a black belt?
I mean, I do now. I'm a fourth dan.
That's the
I think
base
that's the
level
minimum.
for that?
I think so. I think that's the minimum.
Okay. How many students do you have now?
I mean, they're basically all just friends of mine still, because I'm still like doing a bunch of stuff.
That's okay.
Yeah, the thing is like 4 or 5. A few others that are looking at joining too.
I think you had 2 last time I asked you.
I think so. See, I think
I'm sorry. My dog is being so
4 or 5.
noisy. I'm so sorry.
I can't hear a thing. So
Okay, good.
maybe it'll show up in your audio later, but I can't hear it.
Excellent.
But yeah, so I mean, it's going well.
That's good. Okay, so say you get a school, like enough students to like have a whole school and everything.
Yeah.
To, like branch out beyond the garage. Would you quit your day job?
Probably not. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I just started a new job, a new position. Also it would take a while to be able to make enough and have enough students and have enough income to be able to live off teaching martial arts. I've been working a lot with people on as far as how to run school and stuff like that. And like one thing that was made, one idea that was shared with me that I'm very much trying to adhere to is it can't be a hobby that just loses money, right?
Yeah.
So I'm making sure I'm not just putting money into this and not getting anything back. So I'm making sure that I do it in a way where there's at least some level of gain involved.
Yeah.
But I don't have the mindset of like, this has to be my bread and butter. This has to be the way that I pay the bills. Because I really enjoy my day job. I mean, I just started with a new company. I'm making video games as a programmer, which is kind of been a dream of mine for years, since high school.
That's awesome.
So I'm not making game. I'm not a game dev. That's a very specific thing. So I will clarify. But I am doing programming at a game studio, making stuff for video games, and it's really, really fun. So no, I don't think I would quit my day job, at least not yet. I definitely want to keep this going, that martial arts thing, long enough that maybe I can retire early someday, and when I retire, I can then just focus on my school. So I want to at least have it going and have it there. Because also I just love martial arts. I love teaching. It's super fun. So we'll see where. I mean, I'm very kind of go with the flow kind of person, so I'm willing to just kind of like have it there. I want to do it. I'm going to start it up and see where it goes. See how long it lasts.
Yeah.
So, if you could start a school, would you do it?
No. I would not.
Quick and concise answer. Well done.
I really would not. I'm like, okay. Part of the reason. Okay, I didn't start doing all these extra types of workouts because oh, it will improve my martial arts. That wasn't the intent. The intent is that I get bored.
Sure.
And so as much as I love doing martial arts and I'm doing it like almost every day, I get bored and want to do other stuff too. So
That's
I wouldn't
fair.
want it to be my life because I would end up just hating it.
That's
It was
fair.
just that was my whole life.
Yep. I get that. I'm definitely trying to make sure that it's not my entire life. Right? And that's part of why I don't want to quit my job. Like, I want it to be a thing that I enjoy doing and that I do, and that because I'm investing so much time, it makes money. But yeah, I feel like there's nothing in my life that I, career-wise, profession-wise, hobby, skill, whatever-wise, that becomes everything. Because I just don't feel like that's a healthy approach.
Thank you for listening to the High Frequency Kicks podcast. Remember to subscribe on your favorite streaming service and give us a like.